There is a lure hanging on the peg that was listed at $2.49 when this was researched. A Johnson Beetle Spin, a bent wire, a stamped blade, and a little split-tail grub that looks like it fell out of a kid's birthday present. Grown men with $6,000 in rods, reels, boats, and electronics will walk right past that lure to buy another realistic swim bait that costs more than the Beetle Spin and the grub combined. Here is the ugly part. Bass do not grade your lure on how it looks in your hand. They grade it on how it moves in the water, how fast it falls, where it is sitting, and whether it looks like an easy meal. That is the whole test. Paint, scales, gills, and eyeballs are one possible trigger, not the trigger. So this is 8 baits that look like garbage, broken worms, wet lint, scrap metal, chopped up hollow plastic, toys from the panfish-aisle. Every one of them looks unfinished, outdated, or flat out rigged wrong, and every one of them has a specific job it does better than the pretty stuff sitting in your box. But there is a catch, and it shows up in almost every one of these. Most anglers who say these lures do not work are not wrong about the fish. They are wrong about how they fished them. Stay with me, because the worst mistakes on this list are the ones anglers are proudest of. Number 1. The Ned Rig.
Well, clear water is absolutely gorgeous. Think of the Caribbean, but it makes a lot of anglers panic.
A stubby little nub of plastic on a mushroom head looking exactly like somebody broke a worm and could not be bothered to throw the leftovers away. The Finesse TRD listing showed a 2.75-inch bait, 8 to a pack at $5.49 when researched. That is the profile that has been humiliating expensive tackle boxes for years. Bassmaster has flat out called it a do-nothing lure, and that is not an insult. The bait is buoyant, it stands up, it glides, and it sits there looking easy to eat. Traditional Midwest finesse fishing is built around a no-feel presentation and a whole menu of retrieves, swimming, gliding, dragging, shaking, dead-sticking, strolling. Not one of them involves making the lure look impressive, which is why anglers ruin it. They cannot feel it, so they go heavier. They cannot stand the stillness, so they shake it. They pair a light wire finesse hook with heavy braid and a cranked down drag. Bend the hook on a good fish and blame the rig. Wired to fish is blunt about it. Start with the lightest head you can get away with, somewhere in the 1/16 to 1/4 ounce range, and match your hook strength to your line strength. A bent hook is not proof the lure is weak. It is proof you brought power fishing pressure to a finesse fight. It is not weedless in every kind of cover, and the plastic is durable, not immortal, but it fools pressured fish that have seen everything else. The Ned Rig is not supposed to impress you. It is supposed to look easy to eat. Number 2, the blade bait.
It actually thumps a lot harder than a traditional blade bait. When you're reeling this thing in, it's really gonna rock your rod tip as you're reeling.
A flat piece of stamped metal with holes drilled in the top. No lip, no soft body, no tail, no personality. It looks like something that fell off a lawnmower. Then it hits cold water and it becomes one of the strongest signals you can send. It sinks fast, which gets it down to deep, sluggish, grouped fish, and on a short lift it vibrates hard enough to feel like panic through the rod. That combination is why blades keep getting recommended for cold water, deeper flats, rocky points, and schools sitting well off the bank. One forum discussion draws the line around 12 feet, blade bait deeper and lipless crankbait shallower, which is a useful rule of thumb and not a law. Now the part that makes anglers hate it. Discipline. The productive lift can be 6 to 8 inches, enough to feel a few vibrations, then let it fall back to bottom on a controlled line. What most guys do is rip it 3 feet like they are starting a pull cord, throw slack everywhere, and the lure turns sideways and grabs the line. Then they call it junk. It was not junk, it was fouled. More movement is not more attraction. That is the whole lesson in one sentence. Number 3, the jigging spoon. Bassmaster describes it as a lead minnow shape built to drop nearly straight down. That is it. No lip, no joints, no tail, no believable swimming action of any kind. It is a chunk of metal with a treble hook and one talent. That talent is speed of arrival. When bass are grouped around deep bait, sitting on channels, points, brush, and offshore structure, the pretty slow-falling bait wanders out of the strike zone before it ever reaches them. The spoon is in their face immediately, and a sharp vertical rip above the school triggers a reaction. It works in winter. It also works in summer when fish push deep and stack around bait. Do not let anybody sell it to you as a January-only lure. It can be jigged straight down or cast and worked back horizontally. It does not require forward-facing sonar. The technique is older than the electronics, but it does require you to find fish or bait first. And this is where most anglers fail it. They drop a spoon into a random 40 feet of nothing, catch nothing, and announce that spoons are overrated. Empty water is empty at every price point. And hook fish in the face on the way out. Find the bait first, then drop. Number 4, the black hair jig. If we are handing out an award for the ugliest lure in bass fishing, this thing takes it home. Dry, it looks like somebody swept a barbershop floor and tied the results to a hook. Wet lint with a barb. Then it hits water and it breathes. Marabou pulses, opens, collapses, and changes profile with almost no input from you, which is why hair jigs come up over and over for clear, calm, sunny days and pressured, shallow, smallmouth cruising where you can see them. The retrieve that gets talked about is slow and steady, not twitchy. Some of these guys fish it so slowly that speeding up when a fish follows is considered the error. Think about that. The lure is winning by doing nearly nothing, and the angler is the one who ruins it. Cold water changes the answer. As fish go deeper and temperatures drop toward the 50-degree range, bigger bucktail profiles that suggest shad or ciscos carry more of the load. Marabou and bucktail are not interchangeable. 2 warnings. Hook quality matters more here than on almost anything else in your box. Bassmaster's review of marabou jigs hammers this point because smallmouth jump, thrash, and change direction, and a dull or weak little hook on a tiny jig hands the fish back. Second, do not tie a 16th-ounce hair jig onto a broomstick rod and heavy line, fail to cast it, and blame the lure. That is a tackle mismatch you created. The hair looks like garbage in the package. That is because packages do not have water in them. Number 5, the wacky rigged worm. This one looks like a beginner made a mistake because the hook is jammed straight through the middle of the worm. No weight, no purpose, it just falls. That fall is the entire lure. Hooking a straight worm through its center creates resistance, makes both ends quiver independently, and keeps the bait hanging right there instead of swimming away from the target. Bassmaster ties it to spawn and post-spawn fish and to isolated shallow cover, which is exactly the situation where you need a bait to stay put and beg for 8 seconds instead of leaving town. Here is where it turns expensive. There is an entire forum thread out there about how much wacky rig fishing costs, and the complaint is always the same. Hook it straight through bare plastic, get one good base, and that soft worm rips. One fish, money in the lake. The fix anglers keep pushing is an O-ring, or crossed rings, so the pressure of the fight moves off the plastic and onto the ring. It is worth knowing that a ring can change how the hook sits and slightly change the fall, so pay attention to it. But one O-ring saves more worms than another bag of colors ever will. The other mistake is depth. Weightless wacky rigs get inefficient the deeper you go. Add a nail weight and switch to a Neko presentation instead of watching a worm drift for a minute and a half. And pick your hook for the cover. Open hook in open water, weedless or guarded near grass and wood. Reel it away fast, and you have thrown away the only thing the lure does well. The fall is the retrieve. Number 6, the tube. A hollow piece of plastic with the end chopped into tentacles, like somebody cut up a skirt and gave up halfway through. It got shoved aside by creature baits with more legs, more arms, more claws, and more appendages every year. Bassmaster has it producing in hot summer water and frigid winter water, and another breakdown puts it right in the post-cold front window, where keeping a subtle bait in the strike zone beats waving a high-action creature at fish that just got shut down. The hollow body is the whole design. Rigged with an internal jig head, it spirals on the fall like something dying. Heavier head, and you can dart it, snap it free of grass, and make it kick backward like a crawfish trying to leave. The tentacles keep moving even when the bait is sitting still. No realistic paint job required. Green pumpkin, brown, watermelon, goby. Done. Where anglers wreck it is cover. An exposed tube jig head in open water and on rock is beautiful. That same exposed hook in brush is not finesse. It is a donation. Texas rig it when you are around snags and watch the nose, because that is where the plastic tears around the head. And no, it is not just a smallmouth lure. Largemouth eat it too. The tube never stopped working. Fishermen just got distracted. Number 7, the inline spinner. Mepps, rooster tail, panther martin. A blade, a body, a hook, and about as much sophistication as a butter knife. Bass fishermen dismiss it as trout tackle, kid tackle, ultralight tackle, something you outgrow. Go read what anglers on Bass Resource actually say about them. Underrated, underused, boring but deadly. Wired 2 Fish still lists them as a numbers bait for river and pond anglers, and that is exactly what they are. Constant flash, constant vibration, and enough speed control to cover water while everybody else is dragging a jig. It is not trouble-free, and pretending otherwise is how you lose people. Inline spinners twist line. If the body is rotating instead of just the blade, you are building a phone cord on your reel one cast at a time. Run a small swivel. Check the lure in the water beside the boat or the bank and make sure only the blade is spinning. Those exposed trebles are also miserable around thick grass and wood. Blade width and shape change how the lure rides. A wider blade lifts and resists more, which means it runs shallower and needs a different speed than a narrow one. Mepps says its size 3 and 4 ugliest are the common largemouth choices, and that is the manufacturer talking, so treat it as a starting point, not gospel. A lure does not stop catching fish because grown men got embarrassed to throw it. Number 8, the Beetle Spin. It is a miniature safety pin spinnerbait with a plastic grub on it, and it looks like something you buy a 7-year-old so he stops asking questions. Anglers ignore it because it does not look serious enough to be a base lure. That is a shelf opinion, not a water opinion. Wired 2 Fish puts it parallel to shallow grass lines and laydowns and deeper around rock piles and docks. Bassmaster puts it in the hands of anglers wading creeks. Grass, wood, docks, rock, ponds, creeks. That is not a novelty. That is a working bait. The most common way anglers waste it is speed. They burn it back to the bank, straight over the top of the fish, and decide the lure is a dud. Count it down, let it get to the level base are actually sitting at, then swim it, twitch it beside cover, or hop it around deeper rock. One honest warning, a 2025 forum thread had users complaining that the blade slipped off newer Beetle Spins and they were talking about closing up the wire loop. That is a handful of guys, not a defect report. Check the loop. Pinch it if you need to, and use sane drag pressure because that is thin wire and a small hook. Cheap only stays cheap until the blade disappears on a cast. Serious bass do not check which aisle the lure came from. So here's the truth, the tackle aisle will never print on a package. Realism is one trigger. Fall rate, vibration, displacement, profile, and location are the other 5. And bass will take those over a paint job every single day of the week. The ugliest lure in your box might be the only one moving at the speed the fish actually want. Stop buying detail, start buying depth, speed, and the right presentation. And when the guy across the bank hooks up on a $2 Beetle Spin while you are on your 4th realistic swim bait, do not call it luck. Subscribe to Tackle Hank because the water does not care what your lure looks like in your hand. It only cares what it does when it sinks.